Welcome to the 7th day of Christmas. I'm Dr. Carol. Together we're celebrating the 12 days of Christmas, known in many Christian traditions as Christmastide. Just letting the message of Christmas nourish our souls, impact our lives. Well, today is also New Year's Eve. Years may be a little artificial in our human experience of time, but time is important. God created time. He created us within time. So thinking about time and intentionally experiencing it makes sense. Well, today's scripture may be kind of an obvious one about time. This is from Ecclesiastes. You may recognize this. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to tear, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time for peace, and a time for war. As we come to the end of 2023, looking toward a new year, if you haven't already done so, this is a great moment to just reflect on what was 2023 for you. What has this past year been? That kind of reflection is especially appropriate, during Christmastide. This doesn't have to be fancy. It can just be thinking of the good and the bad, maybe, God forbid, if there was ugly, but the good. Even just this passage from Ecclesiastes, there's things that we would consider to be good, laugh, dance, time to be born. And there's also things that we would consider to be hard or bad or sad. So start by looking at what was good. What were the things that nourished you during this year? What kind of relationships had positive moments? How have you grown? Where has God come to you this year? How has your relationship with Jesus grown, perhaps? And then about the hard things, be real about that too. What are the challenges you faced? Are there things you had hoped for that didn't happen this year? What kind of pain? Maybe there were circumstances that happened to you or around you that created just real hard, sad things. Some of you may be coming to the end of this year having lost a loved one. Just acknowledging those really, really sad and hard things also. And again, even in the hard things, how has Jesus come to you this year? He always does. He's always there if we invite him, both in the good things and the bad things. So just in your reflection on this year, pause and say, how has God come to you this year? And then another question to ask Jesus, what is your perspective on this past year? I believe it's likely Jesus will have a different perspective than your first perspective may be. It may be that you fought some battles and won, even though you kind of feel beat up on the outside. You've learned some things. God is growing you, even through what may be difficult. And then finally, what might you need to let go of? Some of those good things you may need to just open your hands and release. Some of the accomplishments or things that you acquired, some of the memories, yes, treasure them, honor them. But don't hold them too tightly. Hold them with open hands. You may need to let them go. And then, of course, some of the hard, sad, or difficult things, you need to let those go too. When your hands are clutched too tightly, you can't receive anything new. This is a time, as 2023 ends, to open your hands, let the old go, so that as 2024 begins, your hands can be filled with new and good things. God has space to bring that to you. I hope you're subscribed to this series. Tomorrow will be on the 8th day of Christmas, and I want you to get all of these. I'd also invite you to share them with someone else. I'll see you again tomorrow. God bless. Make sure to click on the next video. Continue to celebrate the 12 days of Christmas with us.